Okay. It's a little bit after 5. We have a workshop that was to do, start at 5, and we have a quorum, so please, Delina, thank you.
I'm going to read the... Okay. Notice of a public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act. Notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene a workshop and executive session, a regular meeting on Tuesday, April 3rd, 2012, at 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m., and 6 p.m. in the Commission chambers on the second floor of Brownsville City Hall, Old Federal Building, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Workshop, discussion regarding Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation project funding recommendations for fiscal year 2012.
My name is Delina Barrera. I function as the Executive Director for the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation. This is an annual process that we go through to bring the projects to the City Commission. Again, the funding applications and guidelines were reviewed by the board. The funding application was released on September 20th, 2011. The applications were due on December 19th, 2011. The board reviewed the applications on merit, matching, and reasonableness of costs. The applications that were recommended for funding as required by law, we had a public hearing on March 28, 2012, and again, we're bringing these applications to the City Commission for approval. There was a total of a little over $4 million, close to $5 million in requests. 1.8 of it was the shelters, and our budget was $660,500. The Brownsville Botanical Gardens and Arboretum project is, the funds are for the irrigation, cable, and post fencing. Again, it's to hope to increase the viability of vegetation and to increase the security for the botanical gardens. The recommended amount is $17,000. And then this kind of gives you an idea out of where the botanical gardens are and in the area at the rear where they would like to help put additional posting as they have there on the right. The Brownsville Museum of Fine Arts, they have a project having to do with the sculptures. The benefit is to try to promote public art. What's recommended is $50,000. Many of y'all have seen these particular sculptures that have been out. And again, it's to continue these promotion of these particular sculptures that are being brought by a world-renowned sculptor who has sculptures throughout the world. The Brownsville Tennis Association, their project is to try to go on ahead and resurface the courts, the net, and to replace the nets and the poles. Again, it is maintenance of a facility for tournament attractions. It does increase the live facilities, and as y'all are aware of, they of course just finished having a tournament that brought tourists from throughout the world. The recommended amount is $50,000. So these are some of the repairs that we're talking about that they would like to do with the funding. The Camille Playhouse, the project is theatrical lighting and electrical upgrades. Again, we want to increase the quality of productions to attract more visitors and patrons. The recommended amount is $71,750. Again, these are the old lighting that they've had for years there. In fact, most of their lighting is back from the inception of when the Playhouse was built back in the 70s. The City of Brownsville, the emergency shelter projects, there are several projects that are currently included in that, which is to use those as a planetarium, a gym, and a museum. The recommended amount of funding is $150,000. And again, these are just examples of shelter domes that are being used for other purposes while there's not an emergency in other communities. The City of Brownsville Old City Library restoration, the benefit is preservation of a historical building, and again also to promote tourism. The recommended amount is $40,000, and this is the building that was originally the Old City Library. It was the first independent building, and this is the one that they would like to start doing the restoration on this particular little building. The City of Brownsville Capitol Theater improvements, again, the benefit is preservation again of a historical building. It's a downtown location that has been used for events to attract tourism to our community, and this is seed money to start the process so that the building may be at least brought up to a condition where it can continue to be used for events. So recommended is $111,750, and of course this is a Capitol Theater.
Dr. Barrera?
Yes, sir.
Around 2005, we had discussion where we wanted to restore it to a theater again. You remember those discussions?
Yes, sir.
And then there was talk about buying the whole block and making that big old theater, something similar to what the university built. Is in the talks that you all are in the current 4B board, is there talks of restoring it back into a theater or just starting to reconstruct the inside?
No, the funding that BCIC is providing is to try to help put the building in condition so that it can continue to be used for projects as is currently being used for different events in the downtown area, so that they are able to use it as a meeting place, to have bathrooms, but to make the building usable for all those types of events.
The historic people, or the folks with the
Capitol Theater.
thank you, did not ask for full restoration. This grant was for a lot of items such as these.
The City of Brownsville Gonzalez Park security lighting, the benefit is to try to increase safety and promote night park use. The recommended amount is $40,000, and this is kind of the open field area that we're looking at doing this first phase of putting in lighting into this area. The City of Brownsville, La Posada, Montezuma, Cypress Reserve site planning. The benefit is to try to ensure proper preservation of the site. What's being recommended is $30,000 to conduct a study in order to ensure that the site is properly preserved, given the ecological sensitivity of this particular site. The City of Brownsville Commemorative Air Force Roof Project Phase 5. Again, this is to reinforce, prolong, and enhance the uses of vintage aircraft and artifacts display museum. The recommended amount of $50,000 in this particular case. Mr. Brown, with the airport, is able to also get matching funds, and this should complete the total replacement of the roof of this particular building. The Gorgas Science Foundation Rat Plantation House Phase 2. The benefit is restoration of a historic site and a visitor center to promote tourism. Again, the first phase was funded to the Texas Arboretum, the Texas Audubon Society, excuse me. The first phase was Texas Audubon Society, where there was some initial funds to ensure that the actual building we would not have any further deterioration. So this is kind of the continuation of this particular site, and that's the Rad Plantation House. So you can see the new roofing, and there were some other items that were previously funded. Any other comments or questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Presentation and overview of Medicaid 1115 waiver in Brownsville, Texas.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, good afternoon. Today I've got Ms. Yvette Salinas, our Health Administrator with Cameron County. Cameron County is going to be doing a presentation to us about the Medicaid 1115 waiver. And at the end of the presentation, we can answer any questions you may have.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. On behalf of the Cameron County Judge and the Commissioners, they asked me to extend a sincere appreciation and thanking y'all for allowing us to present this evening, because we are very interested in looking for partners on this project. This is a very new project, and we don't have all the answers to our questions. We've asked questions and we're pending clarifications, but we're moving forward. We've had a great partnership with your City Health Department, working with Art. And so I know that, between the two of us, we're going to put our best foot forward on this project and make the best of it for Cameron County and the City of Brownsville. I'd also like to take this opportunity to introduce Pedro Hinojosa. Pedro Hinojosa is the Director of Operations within the Health Department. For the most part, between the two of us, we've been tasked with this. This project is our priority. Our daily duties have just gone to the sidelines, and this is something that we're going to follow for the next few months because it's that important to all of us. Okay, let me see if I can, this way, that way? Yeah. Okay, this way, okay. Just to give everybody a little bit of history, back in 1985, the 69th legislature passed a law that was intended to support needy Texas residents who didn't qualify for any state or any federal healthcare type of assistance programs. And we all know this to have been the Cameron County Indigent Healthcare Program. Now, in 2008, the county changed, and we went into a different type of partnership because we needed to draw down federal funds to expand the county indigent healthcare program. So in 2008, Cameron County partnered with Valley Baptist Medical Center and the Rio Grande Valley Indigent Healthcare Corporation, which is a nonprofit. And this partnership allowed for federal funds to be drawn down, but this partnership was only for hospitals. And so this partnership was known as, well, this project was known as the Upper Payment Limit Program. So for a few years, we've been working with the Upper Payment Limit Program. And just to give everyone an idea, Cameron County would give the $3 million to the Rio Grande Valley Indigent Healthcare Corporation. And so the federal match was on an average of one and a half measured. So basically, so instead of having $3 million, now we had a pool of $7.5 million because of the federal funds. But recently, the 82nd legislature changed it. And so they mandated that the state of Texas work under a capitated managed program. And this is the information that everybody's been seeing in the paper recently, that now the state of Texas is going to a capitated managed care program statewide. So before, when someone went to see the doctor, every time that person that was on Medicaid went to the doctor, then the physician was paid for every service. So if the patient went 10 times, then the physician got paid 10 times. But now with the managed care system, now the physician's going to get paid for providing services to the individual. It doesn't matter if the individual goes 1 time or 10 times, it's still the same dollar amount. So that was a huge change. And so everybody is still working with I guess, some of the deficiencies of that program, but this is part of the Medicaid managed care program of the changes that were made. So what does that mean? What happened is, because of that managed care program, the state of Texas could no longer use the upper payment limit program. And remember, these were the federal funds that we were drawing down, because the federal regulations do not allow for UPL and managed care to work together. So the state of Texas submitted the 1115 waiver to the feds, which is the CMS, as a way to try and preserve those UPL funds. And so they submitted a plan, which was a 5-year plan. And the plan already started. It started September 1, 2011. And hey, we're finding out about it ourselves. Statewide, this is what's happening. The first time we heard about it in Cameron County is when Health and Human Services officials visited the Cameron and Hidalgo County judge on October 30th. So this is a very fast-moving project. But nonetheless, it's here, and this is what we're working with. The state of Texas did receive approval from the feds to continue with this plan, and that just recently happened on December the 12th, 2011. So what does that mean? Okay, we've got the approval, and so it preserved the hospital funds that was of concern. But what does it mean to us locally? Okay, well, the hospitals and everybody still continues to get paid, but more of a managed care system. What's different to us as a county and municipalities is the feds said, you know what, we are tired of paying just for the services. We want to see a healthier community. So with that, they created a second pool of money that provides incentive payments for health care improvements. So what that means is now there's money available not just for medical services, but for community projects that will improve the health care of the community. So before, when there was maybe 14 or 15 billion dollars being drawn down by the state of Texas, now because of the community projects, we have the potential as a state to access $29 billion. But this, and everything always has a catch, we can only use public funds. okay? So we can only use taxpayers' funds to try and draw down the federal funds. This is an example. So to put it, everything, to just kind of summarize it, the feds only want to pay for new projects or expanded projects. For example, if the city of Brownsville has a half-mile walking trail, and you want to expand that walking trail to 1.5 miles, and if you set aside $1,000 in public funds for that, we don't know what the match is going to be, but based on the UPL, we believe it's anywhere from 1.5 to 2. So let's just say 1.5. So if the city of Brownsville uses their public funds and we put them on reserve, and then you draw down the historical funds of 1.5, instead of having $1,000, now you have $2,500. Our understanding is every single meeting we've attended, we don't have this information in writing, but whatever an entity puts up in money is what they get back. So this is what we're telling everyone, because that is what we are being told. So there's not an administrative fee. If it happens later on, it's beyond my control, but this is what we're told. Everything that you all put up, you all get directly back. Now, how is that going to work? The public funds turns into something known as IGT. So if we start with the Cameron County municipalities, and the funds go to Cameron County will give them to the Health and Human Services Commission, who will put them on reserve. The Health and Human Service Commission, based on information, will submit a report to the feds on how our community projects are doing and other parameters that we don't really know yet, but they'll report that information to the feds, and the feds will turn around and give the money back to the Health and Human Services Commission. And the Health and Human Services Commission 2 meetings ago said that they were going to pay the hospitals. Now they're saying they might pay county government. So that's still questionable, and that's why we have a question mark there. So there's still a lot of information that needs to be finalized. It may not be finalized for another year, but we're still going to put our best foot forward. So after, let's just say it's the hospitals. So then possibly the hospitals will be paying for those community projects, and they'll also be paying out for the medical care costs that have been expended. So that's what happens with the public funds. And again, please note the draft proposal, because we really don't know how it's going to work. This is a 5-year plan. We've already started in year 1. And if the incentive pool on the left-hand side of the presentation, those are the community projects. And the uncompensated care pool, those are the medical care costs that usually go to the hospitals. So if you look at year 1, year 2, year 3, you see all the percentages change. Theoretically, the feds believe that the more money that we put into the community projects, then we should have a healthier community, and we should have less medical bills. So every year, the cap for medical care goes down on the last line, but yet the community projects, that cap goes up, which allows us to draw down more money. There are some conditions to this. The state of Texas doesn't want to deal with 254 counties anymore, so they're forcing us to regionalize. We don't exactly know who's in the region. This map is really just a proposal for us to start working. Each county has to decide for themselves where, if they want to participate and what region they want to participate in. For the most part, let's just say Cameron. If Cameron wants to go to El Paso and participate there, we're really going to have to do a good job justifying why we want to move from Region 5, which is where we're at the very, very bottom. So there is some wiggle room for counties to move to other regions, but you're going to have a good reason to the Health and Human Service Commission, and they are the ones that will approve or disapprove it. So again, this is a project that the Cameron County Commissioners Court, in our case, has to decide if they want to participate or not, and I know that yes, they do, because they don't want to leave any money on the table. This is another condition. We have to come up with a regional health care plan, and this is as a region. So we are barely forming our regions, but we still have to submit this plan, and I'm really grateful to to Art for getting us on this presentation, because unfortunately, as far as the timelines are, we're looking at having some final information before the end of May as far as projects and funding that might come to the table. The regional healthcare plan, we're hoping to have the first draft finalized by July 1 and submitted to the state, and so that's why I'm saying that we're barely getting information. There's still a lot of information out there that hasn't been answered, but we still have to work with this project. The money that you hope to commit, it's strictly a plan. It's not a contract. It's not a, it's not that we're going to take your money and hold it in reserve and not give it back. We're just trying to write up the plan. And so we were hoping that any projects that you might have, like maybe for a city park, that you would consider, using that pool of money and reserving it so that you can multiply it. We do not have, believe it or not, we do not have a clarification of all the projects yet. We're still waiting for the state to give us that information, but it's due any day, so maybe when I left the office it was there. We're just hoping to get that information. Again, we're all trying to work with this, and there is a committee, and it's a committee with the hospitals, and recently the university has joined us, and we've also asked for Brownsville Community Health Center, Su Clinica, to participate. So we do have this committee trying to develop this plan, and we have taken the position that even though we don't have clarifications from the state, we're going to put our information into the plan and let the state deny us, because we're hoping that we can write a strong enough plan for all of our projects that the state will just, go ahead and review it and approve our projects. Again, these are some of the partnerships that we're having to work with. So what are we going to do next? That's all up to us. Everything really just goes back to this slide. This is a partnership with all of us, and we are hoping that that there is funds out there that we can multiply and use it for our community, because we all have a vested interest in our community.
If I may, thank you, Yvette and Art. First, I want to thank you for bringing this presentation, even though it isn't finalized. Y'all are really on top of it. The Commission should know that both Art and Yvette received their Masters in Public Health here in Brownsville at the School of Public Health. So we're very well represented at these talks that are going on up the valley. All too often we are not well represented by when in combination with Upper Valley folks sometimes, but in this case they are working very hard proactively to lead the direction to our benefit in Cameron County and Brownsville. Dr. McCormick and Dr. Reiniger are very heavily involved in trying to act proactively to tell the government this is what we want and what we feel appropriate for Cameron County, rather than to be told what it should be in Cameron County by people who are not from here. It is a major shift in the government's perspective, because this is the first time in a very, very long time that preventative medicine is being focused and highlighted and incentivized rather than waiting for people to get sick. The Texas Department of Health is deciding that it's important to invest in preventing people from getting sick. So projects such as parks, whatever ends up the type of project on that list, in the end we still don't know, but if your project that you're interested in as the City of Brownsville ends up on that list, then Brownsville can apply for those funds, and it's actually much easier than a grant because it's on that magic list, if you will. So the splash park that's going to come up later on would be potentially a project that would qualify for such funding. So it's important that the Commission understand that this is still a work in progress, that we are very well represented, and it may very nicely work to our benefit in Brownsville.
Thank you all. I would suggest that your department, and I know that they are, but if case, I know you guys are real busy and you're working real hard with what you got going, but if you would have some representative from your office at any one of the meetings that Commissioner Gowan has with regards to hike and bike trails, there's a whole lot of activity that's getting ready to happen. And I think that would assist you in knowing what kind of projects we're thinking about, so that you can double and triple the money that we hopefully are able to allocate in some fashion or form, because it doesn't take much money. It really doesn't take much money, and some of these projects could really go fast if we're able to really implement this. The preventative medicine portion of it is extremely important. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I think those are the two items for the workshop. Thanks again.
Okay, thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to go in executive session.
May I read them?
Oh, go ahead.
Executive session, consultation with attorney pursuant to section 551.071 A and B of the Texas Government Code regarding anticipated litigation, and where the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Open Meetings Act. B, discussion pursuant to section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code regarding real property.
I make a motion to go into executive session.
Do I hear a second? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The campaign one?
Is it a form?
It's a form.
I better learn myself too.
But if you haven't done any contributions,
You
it's
still
easy.
have to do it. I
Yeah.
lost that.
Oh yeah, but I mean it's a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's now past 6, so we started the regular meeting.
The invocation.
Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Rick, would you do it for
I'm
us?
sorry.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Pastor Acero Valencia, Valle del Rey.
Sí. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, Padre Celestial, gracias te damos por las bendiciones que das a esta gran nación. Thank you for your blessing this great nation, que ha sido no solamente una bendición para los habitantes de este lugar, sino para muchas naciones alrededor de la tierra. Te pedimos que sigas bendiciendo grandemente a este gran país. Te pedimos por las próximas elecciones que sean de bendición y que la persona que sea elegida sea la idónea y conforme a tu voluntad. Te pedimos que ilumines las mentes de las personas aquí presentes, del mayor en especial, para que les des la capacidad de guiar de buena manera y conforme a tu voluntad cada asunto que se vaya a tratar. Sé con cada una de las personas aquí presentes y bendíceles grandemente. En Cristo Jesús. Amén.
Action on item discussed in executive session. Letter A.
Mark, there's nothing to be done.
Yeah, no action is being requested at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. On either A or B?
On either A or B. at this
Okay,
time.
thanks.
The mayor's report.
Yes. I'll be real brief on this one. I think the last time that I addressed you all, the last meeting, I told you about a proposed event between Matamoros and Brownsville, and it's called a dinner on the bridge, at the BM Bridge. We have continued to meet, and we met with the mayor as early as Monday. The event will go on. We will try to get some more PR and notices to exactly all of the details. It's going to be a Cinco de Mayo, but it will be done on the 3rd of May, which is Thursday night. Again, it's a whole lot of details, but one of the things that I'm going to ask the City Commission to do is, you know, we've talked a lot about being the sister city of Matamoros, along with probably a few other cities in the world, or Mexico, or whatever. But actually, I went back and asked the staff to take a look and see if it was actually official, and we have not ever done anything officially.
With Matamoros?
With Matamoros. And so I went through the Mexican consulate, and so one of the things that has to happen is that we have to have a motion, and we don't do it at this time because it's not on the agenda, but we are trying to do all the preliminary requirements through the consulate, Mexican and American, and so hopefully that'll be something that'll be on the agenda for the next time, and hopefully everybody will join us, because what happened as part of the event, it would be that at that particular time we would formally enter into that agreement and get it signed by both mayors in the middle of the bridge, and kind of make it a festive occasion for all of us, okay? That concludes my mayor's report. Commissioner's report? Anyone?
I just want to communicate something from the beautification committee. Today I had the first meeting after being reappointed, and I had something important to communicate to the whole city. I'm going to go ahead and read this. It says, the City of Brownsville will be hosting the State of Texas 123rd Annual Arbor Day observance. The ceremony will be held at the Brownsville Historic Battlefield Hike and Bike Trail, Linear Park, at the Outdoor Amphitheater at 10 a.m. Saturday, April 28th. Officials, delegates, and representatives from the entire state will be down to celebrate this momentous occasion. And we have very short notice for this because Amarillo was scheduled to receive the award or have the ceremony, host the ceremony. And we're honored that we're given the opportunity to host the event since they couldn't. Like I said, we will have state officials and other elected officials here. So it'd be nice if we can get a lot of the community to come out and take part of this tree planting. Another item I have here is our committee wants to revitalize downtown Brownsville by hanging planters, and we created an initiative. We invite you to, if you're downtown on Elizabeth Street, to see the first one we hung at between 8th and 9th Street. Now we're still working on a private and public partnership to kind of get businesses downtown involved and in helping us beautify the city with those planters. And that's it for my report. Thank you.
That's very good, Commissioner. I think what I would instruct the city secretary is to make sure that the notice goes out to all the employees of the city of Brownsville with regard to this event. Encourage everybody to be out there. Make sure that all the commissioners and myself get a reminder so we can put it on the calendar. Send copies to the PUB and make sure all those employees get it. And any other entity, the port, all the people that actually have joined the university, TSC, anybody that's with the United Brownsville, the bigger the group, the better. And like I've told everybody, with regards to downtown, we hold meetings at 10 o'clock at the Cueto building. And tomorrow we will be holding a meeting with regards to some more of the plans. And I think at 11, Commissioner Gowan, we'll be having some talks with regards to the bike and hike trails, as how that all integrates with that particular effort. So thank you, Commissioner. That's a great, let's try to figure out how we can kind of really bring it around so we can have more than one event on that particular day and really make it special. Okay? Sure. Charlie, I think you're up. Is that?
Presentation.
Sir, our employee of the month, Eva Vega, could not make it today. We want to refer this to a later date, another commission meeting. she's not able to attend today.
Oh, okay, that'll be fine. Item number 4.
Item 4, consent agenda items.
Would you approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Public hearing.
Public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 2012-736-N to amend Chapter 98, Traffic and Vehicles, Article 5, Stopping, Standing, and Parking, Section 98-366, Installation, Operation, and Maintenance of Parking Meters by amending subsection A and adding subsections C, D, and E, and dealing with related matters.
Mayor and Commissioners, good afternoon. Today we have that change of ordinance that was, the original ordinance we have was a little bit obsolete and we want to bring it back up to standards. The City of San Antonio has this ordinance in place already. It's been there for quite a while. What it does is it gives you the opportunities to put meters just not on the city, around the city area, in the zones. You could put it all around the city of Brownsville as the city grows. For instance, like the airport, we have meters there already. And also, it helps a lot in the future in case when the city of Brownsville starts to grow on the north side, if there has any parking problem issues, we can go ahead and put meters there to have better parking control. Are there any questions? Or I recommend approval of this item.
This is a first reading, so it's a public hearing. Anyone have any comments?
Robert, on
Sir.
the existing meters, how do we compare to cities like San Antonio as far as rates? Are we below their rates?
Yes, we are. We're a little bit lower. Their rates are very high, a little bit higher. Of course, it's, the downtown rates are much more than ours. Perhaps in the future we can raise it from 25 to 50 cents an hour.
When's the last time we adjusted that?
It's been quite a while. We tried to do it 15 years ago. It didn't quite go through. We did do some modifications on the parking tickets violations. We did brought them up from 3 to 5, and also some other red zones and fire lanes.
Okay.
We did some corrections there. Perhaps later on we can bring it up to, bring the 2-hour meter for 50 cents an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, I'm going to tell you there is a gentleman out of the Washington, D.C. area that if you would contact me, I'd like for you to talk to him with regards. I was at the City Design Conference, and he has some very good suggestions and tell you some stories, and he's got some books actually that he's written with regards to parking meters and things of that nature. But this is not dealing with that. So, but this is just simply what he's trying to do is trying to figure out amending the subsection and adding subsections. Does anyone else have any other comments? Can I entertain a motion to close public hearing?
Move to close. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Okay. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you.
Number 6, public hearing and action to approve a substantial amendment to the October 1st, 2011, September 30th, 2012 one-year action plan.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commissioners. Tonight, I would like to discuss in this public hearing a proposed projects. As you recall, back in September, we approved the one-year action plan to begin October 1st and September 30th of 2012. These are new projects that will be added to that plan. With me tonight is Mr. Carlo, Chairman of the Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee, and also other staff, other members who are here, are here. They met twice on the 22nd of March and also on the 15th to review these proposed projects and allocate a proposed budget to them. Tonight, there's basically 2 parts to this public hearing. The first part is to reallocate CDBG funding from existing projects to new projects. And the first one is an airport hangar. There will be, they have recommended to you to fund as $1 million loan to the airport to construct and match an EDA grant to construct this hangar. Secondly is to begin proposed rehabilitation of the building the city owns by the name of Stegman. of home of $1,200,000, and also $500,000 to renovate the commercial area. Secondly, the 805 Tyler building, also city-owned, to begin feasibility studies and minor improvements to clean that building up of $180,000. Possible land acquisition throughout the Buena Vida neighborhood and downtown of $500,000 to remove slum and blight of those neighborhoods. Also, the fire chief requested assistance to purchase a fire pumper for the southmost fire station of 375. Port Acres Park, which is an improvement to Port Acres Park of trails and a splash pad and some playground apparatuses of $195,000. Also, the Good Neighbor Settlement House is in need of a commercial stove and fridge, and that money is proposed to be $16,000. So of CDBG funds, $3,966,000 to be reallocated to these projects. Second component is that back in October, the government said that we would get the emergency shelter in 2 allocations. The second allocation, we do need to do this plan amendment because they has just given approval to begin planning for that, and that second allocation is $80,982,000, of which is divided in the following ways, as the committee is recommending. Emergency shelter funding of $60,482, homeless prevention that's to amend the existing expenditures, and that's of $10,000. I'm sorry, let me go back. Emergency shelter, that's zero funding for that category. For homeless prevention of $10,000. Rapid rehousing, which is a new program. This is people that have, because of a foreclosure or job loss, or now in the situation where they may be homeless or are homeless, and that is $54,309. And the government is really emphasizing that program, so that's where the majority of the money is going to. And a management information system that keeps tracking of our cases. It's a case management program of $7,000. And then administration of $9,673. So that's the $80,000 second allocation is being proposed to be utilized in this manner. If you all have any questions, we're here, the committee, on any of these projects. This is a public hearing or the public. After tonight, if it's approved, we will publish this in the paper for citizen comments.
What monies were reprogrammed to be able to do this?
Yes, sir. Several projects, some that have leftover money, some that we will reallocate money when October 1st comes around, or as projects continue to be completed and money is left over for those. The projects that I'm going to mention do not go away. They're still active projects, but we just right now they have been not ready to utilize those funding. Of those projects, there's some street funding of $1,018,000. We had proposed to hire staff as a sidewalk crew, and that's $487,000. But we do have the money to contract for sidewalks. So the sidewalks or streets, those two would not lose any hiccup. We have plenty of money to continue doing the plan that we currently have. There's an agency of financial literacy, Green Path, has acquired consumer credit counseling. Green Path is a nationwide entity with a lot more money, and they do not need CDBG funding at this time. The Villanueva utility hookup, that's a completed project, and leftover money is $66,349, and that needs to be moved over. When we bought the Stegman building, there was $39,805 left in that fund. We're just putting it back into the pot and completing those new projects. And then available, I mean, we're talking about $500 to all the way $1,000 of various projects that have been completed, or $5,000, $10,000 increments, and that's a total of available funding of $74,039. So combined, we're putting all those projects together, we were able to complete these projects.
you would understand where I would be disturbed because you took money from streets. Why is it that at this point of the year, that money has not been spent? If I can probably say that for every single member on this commission, streets is our #1 priority.
That's
Why
correct.
is street money being used as, to reprogram when you know that our street money needs to be spent? And what I would like to know is why street money is being used in reprogram.
Basically, street money, because that's the biggest allocation that we have that needs activities. As I mentioned, there's enough funding and projects for public works and for projects under contract right now and proposed contracts that are using money from 2009, 2010. This $1 million is from the 2011 program year. So there's not enough time to really start those projects. The year is going to end, so that money will be replenished. Those projects, proposed projects, will be done at the beginning of the year or as towards the end of the year as funding becomes available.
When I speak to my public works director and to my engineer, what they're always telling me is that they need money and that they're looking for the money and they're waiting for the money to be released. If I don't have a problem with this going on, but what I need from you, and I think what this commission needs, as soon as we begin the next funding cycle, I would expect that right now that we start getting the list developed and that comes in, and the minute that this money starts to come in the new budget cycle, that we begin to spend this money on our streets, because the #1 priority on basically anybody that runs for office is that we're going to give our citizens better streets. And if you're telling me that we're still spending money from 2009, 2010, and that these monies haven't been spent because of that, I've got an issue and I've got a problem, and we need to sit down with our department heads and our city manager to find out what is going on, because this money, if it is allocated for streets, needs to get spent on streets, not on other projects.
Right, and the money will be replenished to streets. As I mentioned, right now we have enough work and enough funding to complete what we need to do for this year, and then also for next year. So because the street list is just so long, and this money will be replenished into that activity.
Here's I think, Ben, you need to tell this commission that what sort of time frame are you looking at to replenish this money back into the street projects, because I echo the commissioner's sentiments, and I think that it's not only a popular refrain, it's a necessary refrain out there. And consequently, what I do, like I've told you before, I think Mr. Kabler and Public Works, it's an issue that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed now before we look at the budget. And we do need to know an outline and a plan of what streets are going to be worked on, when they're going to be worked on, and when they will be finished.
And also our maintenance plan. We need to give the citizens our maintenance plan. We need to set that money aside and put it to work, Ben, because if this is the problem, hell, in District 1, I've got 62 streets right now ready that need to be paved and need to get worked on. So if there's the names of streets, trust me, every single individual up here can give you the names of streets that need to get done so that we can start working.
Commissioner Gown.
I'd like to take this moment to to let the commission and the mayor know that there is going to be a complete streets workshop that the 4B is sponsoring coming up. Delina, do you remember the date? I forget. We'll get it to you because it hasn't gone out. It was just approved. And I would encourage every single commissioner and mayor to attend the workshop, because it talks about the management and design of streets that are efficient and move people more efficiently down the road. It's not just about the street, but how the street is constructed.
I would do the same. I will be there. Go ahead.
Also, I wanted to thank you, Ben, because when I came to you with this idea of the splash pad there in Portway Acres Park, which is located directly in front of Perkins Middle School, it's located on Austin Road. That neighborhood has an abundant amount of children, and as we all know, our summers here are extremely, extremely hot. And one of the few people that believed in my idea and really helped me see through it was yourself and Ramiro. And you know, funding is always an issue, but you went way out of your way to help me find the money to make this a reality for this summer. because a lot of times we have these ideas and, you know, it's hard to follow through with it because money is always so hard to find. But you went ahead and took the initiative and got this done so fast. For these families, that means so much to me. And I appreciate your foresight and Mr. Kabler's foresight. You know, I came to him with it and I said, please help me. And you guys got to it, and within weeks, this is now a reality with this vote for these families that, you know, a splash pad, this is one of the first things done here in the valley. You know, these things, they're not so common, but they are. These families will now be able to, you know, have birthday parties and all sorts of things in this area. But mostly, you guys gave me the key to unlock that door, and I would really appreciate your support on this.
Thank you. And Commissioner Longoria, I can assure you that by the third quarter of this year, we would have 3/4 of that funding back into the account. So nobody would get upset or concerned with streets. The streets is not going to lose any hiccup. We have plenty of money and we have plenty of, as you mentioned, projects. So that we won't miss any hiccup. It's just a matter that we have to reallocate funds so we won't bank funds.
What I would like then is when reports have to go back to the federal government on how monies were spent, and when they see that the committee and everybody allocated monies to be spent in a certain way, and then we're reallocating, which is a normal practice. I'm not ignorant to that fact. But the fact is, the community is in need of this, and we should be more proactive in getting these streets done,
right,
and spending this money.
And every year we do bring our annual report to the commission and we publish it in the paper. So we've been very, very fortunate to always have a good report. So
do we have any other comments with regards to public? Brad?
I would just like to say, as a pastor that works with the homeless, I really appreciate the fact that you're helping the Good Neighbor Settlement House. The work they do is awesome. Basically keeping some people alive. The food stamps and other government help is not really a safety net because it takes so long to get on it. So if you find yourself in trouble, if you don't get anything until that comes through, you're going to starve to death. So Good Neighbor Settlement House helps people make it through till food stamps or whatever else kicks in. So whatever we can do to continue helping them, I really appreciate.
Thank you. Any other comments? Do I hear a motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
The public comment, Ms. Rose Timmer. Action items, consideration and action on the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation project funding recommendations for fiscal year 2012.
Commissioner, the tentative date is May 16th
May
for
16th,
the Complete Streets
workshop. Thank you.
What day was that?
May 16th.
Yeah, that's the tentative date.
It's Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
Again, what you see up on the screen is the distribution of the funding of the $660,500 from the workshop that I presented earlier.
Would approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Delina.
Item number 9, consideration and action to approve a memorandum of understanding with the Brownsville Historical Association for the renovation of the first floor of Market Square.
Mayor, Commissioners, there have been a few developments in the last couple of days. We'd ask that you table this. The Historical Association, Priscilla Rodriguez, concurs.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to table?
Motion to table.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you, John.
Item 10, consideration and action to approve an agreement between the City of Brownsville and the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation relating to ownership and maintenance of the Brownsville Sports Park.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is a proposed agreement between the 4B, the BCIC, and the city. Basically, under the terms of this agreement, the BCIC is willing to turn over ownership of the park to the city, but continue to pay for it. And all the city would have to do is maintain it. If I was to draw an analogy, this would be like handing someone a car and saying, I'm going to buy this car and I'm going to continue to pay for it. You can own it, you can drive it, all you have to do is change the oil. So it represents really an incredibly good deal for the city, a good opportunity. We can make the sports park asset the city's asset, and the only requirement they're asking for is that we simply tell them, report to them on a biannual basis how the park is being taken care of. The BCIC would set the certain operation and maintenance costs, which the BCIC board would pay for every year. If the city wanted to increase that or was requesting an increase that, simply there's a requirement of 60 days that you just so you provide adequate time to provide that information to the BCIC board. Otherwise, it's a very simple agreement where the city is going to receive this asset. So I'd ask that you approve it.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item 11, consideration and possible action to reconsider the City of Brownsville Board appointment policy.
Mayor and Commissioners, some time ago, this commission adopted a board appointment policy. I think it got brought back. There was a desire by the commission to re-examine it to ensure that the policy that the city adopted adequately ensured diversity and representation among the different portions of the city. I mean, this city is different in geography, it's different in economics, and the different areas of the city each have their own distinct character. So it was the wish of a number of the commissioners that whatever policy that we adopted basically protect that or ensure that goal of diversity on city boards was something that we continue to look at. I have attached a copy of a policy, the first policy that was in there, and I'll read it. If you look down at paragraph 2, the third paragraph, basically under this proposal, all board members would be elected by the city commission as provided by state law, the city charter, or the relevant bylaws. The city commission would be required to make every reasonable attempt to ensure that geographic diversity of the different city districts are fairly represented on all boards. On all boards having 6 or more appointed members, such board shall consist of a board member from each of the respective districts. All others may be selected from the qualified candidates as determined by the commission. In the event there would fail to be a qualified candidate from an individual district, the commission may, in the discretion, select a qualified candidate from an individual district, from a different district, or if no residing requirement, from the entire number of qualified candidates, regardless of the district they reside. There was also some question in terms of residency, in terms of whether or not, of course, different boards have different residency requirements under state law, and this policy would be subject to any state law or requirements or city charter requirements. But under what circumstances might the city permit people from outside the city to serve? One of the proposals was certainly if someone resides outside the city in a bedroom community, but owns a business. And then that opened up the other questions about, well, what about people who live outside the city but provide significant service in other ways that may not own businesses? What we're proposing is that if you look at item 4, eligibility criteria B, unless authorizing ordinance or law creating or otherwise governing a board or committee specifically requires otherwise, appointees should be residents of the city of Brownsville, Texas, giving a preference to that. However, the commission may also appoint an individual to a city board if otherwise permitted by law, where that individual has established a business in Brownsville, provided significant civic or community service within Brownsville, or who has otherwise demonstrated prior significant willingness to serve the community of Brownsville, Texas. Leaving it open for the commission to give preference to people that live here, but leaving it open in the case that somebody met one of those criteria for you to use your discretion to appoint somebody that might be a good candidate who lived outside the city. And we would ask that you adopt that policy.
Do I hear a motion?
I think it's a good compromise.
Okay. Motion?
Move to approve.
All those in favor, second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 12, consideration and action on resolution number 2012-028 to adopt the Section 3 plan and guidelines to comply with 24 Code of Federal Regulations, Part 135 for federally funded project.
Honorable Mayor and City Commission, tonight I bring you this resolution for your approval. Basically, to this resolution would adhere and enforce the Section 3 regulations for federally funded construction projects. All projects under over 100,000 or more has to comply with Section 3 rules. What Section 3 rules are, in summary, is that a contractor needs to hire, if he's going to hire new staff to complete that project, has to be low and moderate income people, and especially from that neighborhood where that project is being constructed or located. Under the plan, he has to submit in his bid if he's going to hire, if he needs new hires, how many he's going to hire from the local neighborhood. If there's nobody there that can meet his qualifications, then is the whole city, then is the region. Under this policy, we would put it under the bid requirements and under his contract.
Yes.
And in here, he is monitored every month with his pay requests to make sure that he has complied and hired those people that he was going to hire. And in here, you would get points. Like, for example, we have a youth build program in this community, and he could get extra points if he hires some of those people, hires people from the neighborhood of Loma. So it's advantageous for him to hire. But he's also, there's monitoring, and if he's not compliant because of our monitoring, then he could not be compliant with the contract, and the contract can be taken away. Basically, the policy lays out a plan, how we're going to monitor, what person and staff will do that work. Also, part of this is that we want to have an orientation education. In here, there's a requirement that we will have an annual training, an annual seminar where we invite all contractors that want to do business with the city, not only construction, but any want to buy goods and services, sell goods and services to the city, that they have to come, and we basically go through the process with them, even small one-man contractors or big, large contractors. What are the requirements of our federal requirements regarding procurement? What do we require for them to do work with the city? And if you're small enough and cannot get bonding, we would partner with SBA, where SBA can come and they have surety bonds, education, how these small contractors can do work with the city and get bonding. Before, when the bus terminal was not located close to International, there used to be a group of people there every morning, day laborers looking for work. Now, since the new terminal is there, now they stand in front of my office. Well, what we want to do is make sure that contractors, if they need laborers, make sure that those people get, they need jobs, so they could, get a job with these contracts that we're making available. So in a nutshell, that's, putting emphasis and tightening out those requirements with contractors when they do business with the city, that there are requirements, and we're going to monitor them very closely, and so they can comply. So the catch is, if you're not complying, well, you're going to lose that contract. And if you continue doing that, you're going to get disbarred, and then you no longer will participate with any federal program. Another thing that we want to do is that, invite all the commission, is that I want to have a seminar for us employees to bring in a professional person that does procurement at the state level to come and go over with us the regulations of the local government code or ordinance that on how to do procurement and what's required when we need goods and services. What are the requirements under state law, and what is our local ordinances, and what is this resolution, this plan? How can we make sure that we're complying ourselves with it, so we can continue getting those federal funds? So those are the things that we want to do as part of this plan. Hopefully we approve it, is that, one, have a seminar for ourselves so we can get trained, and secondly, that we provide a workshop to all contractors, large and small, of what the requirements are of working with the city. Ask for your approval.
Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Se- All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Adjourn?
Second?
Second.
Motion carries.